Mr. Malema has been found guilty of hate speech or anything like that. You remember that Mr. Malema made a speech in 2022 during their rally and everything like that. So you would remember that he was talking there and everything. So unfortunately, there were some people who didn't take nicely the words that he was using, and then they deemed it, or they actually described it as hate speech. So first of all, let's just talk about Mr. Malema. Mr. Malema is a very important person in the South African politics. Okay, he is one of those guys who, according to Pan-African people, they like him. A lot of people who call themselves Pan-Africans or who describe themselves as Pan-Africanism, in most cases they like him. In most cases they like him because he represents them. I'm just saying he represents them because he speaks for black people. When he makes speeches, it's all about black people this, black people that, and also it's all about earning or getting our economic freedom for black people and everything like that. Okay, we all know Mr. Malema. There is no need for me to talk about him a lot. Okay, but also we need to understand that in as much as there are a lot of people that like Mr. Malema, perhaps, especially young people, Pan-African people and stuff like that, there are other people who might not like him, who might not like what he says, who might look at him as a person who might, if he takes over power, he might not want to do all these things that he said or anything like that. Okay, so we must all understand all of that. Just like Mr. Ramaphosa, there are all those people that like him. There are all those people that don't like him. There are all those people that like Mr. Zuma. There are all those people that don't like Mr. Zuma. Okay? It's just part of life. Also with Mr. Malema, it is the same thing. But we must not forget, guys, that Mr. Malema is a big politician in South Africa. One of the biggest politicians, one of the influential politicians in South Africa. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how you think of him, but that is a fact. That is why it's all over the place. Right, that is why when he speaks every time, that is why he's played in America there, played his video, chanting there and doing all of that, and then he's a big politician that we need to accept, and all of that. Now, the court actually decided to find Mr. Malema guilty of hate speech. All right, now. Very importantly, ladies and gentlemen, when the court looked at the speech, they qualified the speech of Mr. Malema as a hate speech. Remember, when Mr. Malema was making a speech, at that time, it was not qualifying as a hate speech. But there were people who were listening to him, and whatever that they were listening to him, they thought, no, this is a hate speech. They had to go to court. That is why in South Africa, you don't call something something until that thing, it is qualified according to the ruling of the court that this thing actually, it is this thing. All right? It was not a hate speech until the court ruled it as a hate speech. So as we speak right now, Mr. Malema has been found guilty of his speech being a hate speech. Okay? Now, in South African law, hate speech is defined as speech that incites harm, spreads hatred, and undermines the dignity of people based on race, ethnicity, and other protected grounds. All right? That is why I always say to people, if you want to do your own conclusions, all right, in most cases, just go to the speech, 2022 speech rally. Where was it? I forgot. But a rally where Mr. Malema was speaking, and then you can listen for yourself, and then you can do your own conclusion, okay? But according to the court, unfortunately, according to the court, as we speak, okay, obviously the EFF is going to appeal, but as we stand right now, the speech of Mr. Malema in 2022, it is a hate speech according to the court. on how you view it, whether you think it is, whether you think it's not, it's neither here or there. The fact is, the court has found it as deemed it, or has actually qualified it as a hate speech. And according to the laws of South Africa, if something is actually qualified according to the courts as a hate speech, it means the person, it translates to being a person was doing what? Was inciting harm, was doing what? Spreading hatred, was doing what? Undermining the dignity of people based on race. What does it mean? It's ethnicity and also other things, you know, on the ground that are actually protected, you know, in terms of the laws of South Africa. All right. Now, by ruling against Mr. Malema, the court has sent a clear message that even powerful political leaders are not above the law. Okay. Now, that's a good point, of course. All right. Because if you rule against a prominent person like Mr. Malema, all right, a prominent person like Mr. Zuma, a prominent person like Mr. Ramaphosa, a prominent person like this and that and that and that, in most cases, people, they look at it, especially analysts, they like to say, yeah, you know, this is a sign of showing that, you know, even how, it doesn't matter how powerful you are not above the law. All right, they use that phrase actually when a prominent big person has lost a case. Okay, now that to some people it might look like that and be like, yeah, we told them. You know, there was a guy who made a video. The title was, yeah, at last, finally, Mr. Malema has been found guilty, as if like they were looking for him. You know, it's, I don't know, guys. But anyway, it's just politics. It's part of life, okay? Now, other people, they might look at it like that. Nobody is above the law, okay? Now, the question will be also, what does this mean legally? Okay, this is according to what I've got here, all right? You can go and do your own research. Remember, this is just me coming and like talking about it, you know, from whatever I was doing and checking on what that does actually this mean. The first point is it sets a legal precedent. Future cases involving hate speech can now point back to this judgment. A lot of people, they don't understand, guys, that when you are doing a ruling, if a court is doing a ruling on a certain matter, and a ruling is like this, is like that, okay? In the future, when any person is faced with the same case, or any case that is closer to that case, or maybe almost similar to that case, in most cases, people, they go back to that case, okay? And say, yeah, according to the case number, what in court, and then the ruling was what. This actually meant what. That is why here it doesn't mean what. Okay? So this thing actually here, it has set a precedent, okay, on the future cases that might be held in court, okay? That means if a person comes and make a speech and then people deemed it as a hate speech, you know, and then they go to court, people, they will actually take this case out, the case of Malema, then they will say their point, okay? So it sets out that precedent. Secondly, Malema and the EFF could face fines or other penalties depending on the court's final order. So according to what I'm seeing here, or I'm reading, it seems like, I don't know if they were told what they need to do or the order is. I don't think so. I think it was just a judgment of saying, yeah, the speech that it did, it was a hate speech. I guess maybe afterwards they will bring the order. The order is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know if they did that, if it's there. I'm not sure. Importantly, guys, this does not mean Malema is going to jail. That you must know. It doesn't mean he's going to jail. That is why the second point, it says, now Mr. Malema, I don't know whether he also the EFF or Mr. Malema, I don't know whether it's going to be individual or it's going to be the party. I don't know. Okay, they might face actually penalties or fines. Okay, so it's not a jail thing. It's not like he's going to jail. All right, no. It's not that, okay? But it does put his political career under a legal spotlight. Every future statement he makes will now be actually scrutinized even more closely. So unfortunately, this puts him into the light. This puts him into a spotlight where every time he speaks, people, they will be listening. Hey, remember that he did a hate speech. Hey, you know, what is he going to say? The next speech that Mr. Malema is going to make, it's going to be very listened to, because they want to hear if he's going to repeat and say the same. I don't know, but knowing Mr. Malema, I am telling you guys. You remember, guys, that with the song that he was fighting in court. I don't know whether did he win that case? I think so. I think he won that case. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he won it, because he still sings it. Unless maybe the ruling is not out yet, but he still sings it, and I think he won it. I think that the last time I checked, he won it, okay? However, the EFF might also spin this as a political attack against their movement, potentially energizing their core supporters. Anyway, we all know that everyone, every time when they always come and say, oh, it's political, what. But guys, whether you like it or not, we've got laws in South Africa. And if they are pronounced in a certain way and they are not in your favor, that's what it is, unfortunately. Even if you can come and say, it's a political what, it doesn't matter. The fact is the court have ruled, because whether we like it or not, we all follow the laws, and we all have to follow whatever the courts actually have found, because that's what we signed up for. There's nothing we can do. Maybe you might say, but I'm not signed up for that. Yeah, but you are under South Africa. You are in South Africa. You've got people who are there, who are making these laws. And unfortunately, in most cases, we don't have a say. We just have to, whatever. What this means for South Africa. For the country, this ruling is significant. It reaffirms that hate speech has no place in our democracy, no matter who says it. And at the same time, it opens up debate, freedom. It opens up debates around freedom of speech, which I think also that's going to be a debate. That's going to be very important debate to speak about, okay? Because, you remember the podcast, those guys who spoke about, the other race and stuff like that, which Mr. Mackenzie was against them and everything like that, I don't know, guys, but, this thing is going to cause that thing off. People are not going to be able to say things openly. They are not going to be easy, expressive, and stuff like that. Guys, being expressing yourself doesn't mean you need to be insulting, you need to be using vulgar, you need to be using some inappropriate language, and all of that, You can say things, people hear them, and very powerfully so, even if you say them nicely, without any, insult. Because I've noticed that a lot of videos that sometimes you find getting views, I'm very sorry, but getting views, it seems like all of those that have some kambanyana inside, they've got some strong language in them. In most cases, you find them getting views. I don't know why people like people who swear. I don't know. If you speak nicely, you don't swear, people, they just pass. When you get a video where people is using some swearing, and I'm just saying, okay? But for me, I believe you can make a point without swearing at anyone, okay? Make it very clear and stuff like that, okay? So, and no matter who says it, at the same time, it opens up debates around freedom of speech, political rhetoric, and also accountability of leaders. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. Accountable leaders, for me, they are not based on their words, according to me. They are not based on what they say. They are based on their action. I don't care what you say in front of me. I don't care what point you make, how powerful you are, using bombastic words and stuff like that. It doesn't matter for me. What matters to me is what you do. Action, action, action. You can speak and be nice and be whatever. Action is very important, I don't listen what you say, but I listen while I see or I follow what you do, or I see you as a leader who is effective by what you do. There was somebody one day who said, actually, followers don't do what you say, but followers do what you do. Okay? So it's very important. For me, guys, I don't think that will make me to look at the person and be like, yeah, because he speaks nice and then he can be a good leader. No. It's actions for me. That's what is important. Okay? Now, in closing, guys, so Julius Malema and the EFF might not be an immediate legal danger, but this High Court ruling is a warning shot. You know, it could shape not only Malema's political future, but also the broader conversation about hate speech in South Africa. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Well, from where I'm sitting, even if you can say whatever, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, the court has made a ruling. And we must also remember that Julius Malema and also the EFF are going to appeal the ruling. That means it's going back to court. They will be appealing there, putting their counter argument and say, listen, no, not their counter argument. They will be telling the court to say, listen, this was a wrong decision. This was because of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we want to appeal this thing to overrule it. In other words, okay. So they are going to do that. All right. Now I don't know, according to the law, that after a court has ruled and pronounced it as a hate speech, do we take it, since the EFF has announced that they are going to appeal, do we take it as a hate speech because it was pronounced like that, or we wait until the appeal? I don't know. But as I stand from where I am, according to the ruling, it was a hate speech, okay? So there's nothing that we can do about it. Like I said, you can go and watch the speech and listen to everything so that you can do your own conclusions. But according to the courts, according to the law, okay? According to the courts, according to the law, it is a hate speech. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day. Hope you enjoyed that. Please give me your comments. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. I would appreciate all of that. We are done. Have a fantastic day. We are out.